Here's another look at that skyrocket, a towering drive that went out at about the 370 sign, and he knew it immediately. It'll take him about 20 minutes to go around the base path.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Today is Sunday, October 27th. Is it 27th? I always mess that up. 27, 2013, and I know at least that you are watching the Glory Days show with Bruce and Disco here on radio.com. My name is Paul Descalfani, and this is my good friend Bruce Oler.
Hello there, Disco. How are you today?
I'm doing okay, and you are watching us on radio.com, and we are broadcasting to the world in glorious high definition. Hope you will definition. It's already a tough morning. All right. Hope you were listening before the show, because now you get to hear us talk more than we actually listen to music anymore now.
We had a good story today.
We had a good story this morning. A couple of good stories this morning. A good subject this morning. As we try to find out what's on Mr. B's iPod, Mr. B programs 30 minutes worth of music for us before the show starts, and some songs get through and some songs don't.
Yeah, it's got to do with the SAM. The SAM sometimes, I guess, accelerates things. But that's what happens sometimes, you know.
That's what happens with live television.
That's right. Just like my live performance at the end, you never know what's going to be a good moment or a crash and burn moment. But I wound up seeing the movie. It's out on Showtime, and I think you saw it during, I guess, when it had its one-day theater release, I guess, is what it was, back in July, maybe, of this past year.
Yeah.
Bruce Springsteen and I.
Right.
And it's a story about what Bruce Springsteen means to I guess, the people who were in the movie, you know? And I remembered that as I started thinking about that movie, and it was a good movie, a lot of good stories there, I started thinking about the story that we have when we met the boss back in September of 1978 at the Palladium, you know, and the movie we didn't make, the soundtrack was all songs from 78 and 79, you know.
It's a good movie. Someday we'll make that movie.
It was, I tell you, man, just thinking about that one more time, what a great time that was in our lives, I think.
And it was completely innocent. We had no idea. We just accidentally parked the car right behind
the backstage entrance.
The backstage entrance.
For the police.
And we had no idea.
Yeah.
The show was over. We didn't even have tickets.
That's
the
right.
show was over, and we hung out because we had beer in the car.
Adult beverages.
We had adult beverages in the car. And we just hung out, and we were getting ready to leave, and all of a sudden we didn't realize it was the backstage,
right?
But we saw maybe 200 people congregating back there. And all of a sudden, Miami Steve came out, and he got into a limo, and then a few minutes later, Clarence came out, and they just, you know, didn't really blow the fans off, but they just kind of walked through the fans. And, and so we said, you know what? We have a full cooler of beer, and we just hung out.
That's right.
And we hung out for almost, I would say, more than an hour, maybe 2 hours.
It was a long time.
Because we said, this is backstage. He's got to come out eventually.
Well, yes. The first thing that I remember asking is when there was a bigger crowd there, because at the end there was only about 6 or 7 of us, I think is what it was. But at the beginning it was 200, and we said, what's going on? They said, well, the band is coming out. And we go, has Bruce been out yet? And they said, no. You know, you figure the star has got to be out first.
Right.
But that night, he was doing an interview for, and I think it was WPLJ
PLJ
at the time,
with Carol Miller. That's right, Carol Miller.
So he did that interview, and we just, as you said, we had this cooler full of beer,
and we just hung out.
It was a nice.
Slowly, remember the crowd started thinning out, and it was, Bruce and myself and the big man. We were just hanging out, and all of a sudden, son of a bitch, he comes out, and he just comes out,
and everybody's running to him, and he goes, "I'm not going anywhere." That's what he said.
And he just hung out, and he
talked to us for a while.
He talked to us. He
thanked us for supporting the band.
Thanks for supporting the band. He says that all the time.
Remember, I got his autograph. I said, "Can you make it out to Bruce?" He goes, "Is that your name?" I go, "Yeah." He goes, "You got a great name." He shook my hand. It was really. I mean, I don't know. I hate to say, highlight. And you didn't.
Do you still have? Do you still?
I
have
can't
the
say
autograph?
I can find it. I can't say I can find that.
I had him. Remember, I had him autograph we had a placard in my car. It said Team Fubar.
I remember that.
And I had him autograph it, and he looked at it. He says, "Fubar?
Yeah.
What's that mean?" And I remember saying to him,
Fouled
up beyond all repair. And he just shook his head. He laughed. He says, "I gotta remember that." I remember we wrote in the Team Football column, this was going to be the next album was going to be Born to Football.
That's right. That's right. And of course, the other thing I remember talking to Higgins, because we were talking about making this movie, so we were collecting our thoughts and things like that. And Higgins goes, "Do you remember what I did for him?" I said, "No." I said, I remember you saying we saw you up in Cornell or whatever, and he said, "Thanks for supporting the band." He said, "No." He goes, "I handed him some lyrics to a song called The River." And about a year later, the album came out.
That's piracy.
Yeah.
He should sue him.
Yeah, but it was, I mean, that movie, there was some good scenes in there. I'm reflecting on some of them there. The Pennsylvania Elvis, the guy that came up and played with him, who was, we went to see the New York Elvis, I guess, right?
Yeah.
The guy from England who was a factory worker, and he had like tickets up in the last in the nosebleed section.
That was a good story
ticket
too.
Upgrade, so he was down, I think, in the VIP area.
Right.
There was the guy from Europe who actually saw him across the street. He was a street musician.
Right.
And Bruce came over and played with him a few songs. What does Bruce Springsteen mean to you in 3 words? I didn't like that too much, and that was a lot of the movie. But then there was a story somebody told about seeing him for the first time in a small place before he started playing these massive stadiums and things like that. And I can't say we got in with the ground floor with him. Our friends, the Dowers, obviously, and Kerry. They went to see him early on. They were at CW Post when he recorded
Santa Claus is coming to town.
But we caught up, and again, it was about there was a 3-year hiatus in his career because he had these legal issues with Mike Appel.
Right.
So from 75 to 78, he didn't do anything but tour. And we caught up with him kind of in that 78 time frame.
That was, I was a little late to the game.
Yeah.
And that was my first real concert, was that one at the Nassau Coliseum.
That was back in June of 78, June 3rd, 1978.
But just before that was the first concert I had ever been to. We went to the Harry Chapin.
Yeah.
That was the first concert I had ever been to.
Long Island Cares or something is what it was. In a way, that wasn't a bad show, but it really lacked energy. It really did,
So I remember when I saw the movie, and now that I know it's on Showtime, hopefully it's on demand. I'd like to go back and see it again.
Yeah.
But I remember watching that movie and saying to myself, our story is just
our
as
story
good.
should have been right in
It
the
should have
middle
been
of that.
there. And I remember what they mentioned right in the beginning of the movie. There was a little graphic saying that they had. A couple of years before, they had asked people just to videotape themselves, not make production videos, but just videotape themselves talking about Bruce Springsteen and send them to the thing. And I said, you know what? We would have done that without a doubt.
Too bad we didn't know about that because...
Let's send this video to them.
Maybe
there'll be another...
Yeah, Bruce Springsteen and I, part 2.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Bruce Springsteen and us.
Yeah.
All right. So... speaking of, let's see what we're going to get to today, and then I want to get to what I think is the most interesting story of the week.
Very good. So baseball moves into the World Series between Boston and St. Louis. Pete Torgerson will join us on the hotline. That'll be around, 10:20, 10:30?
Yeah, something like that.
All right. Former WNEW DJ Dave Herman is arrested in St. Croix for soliciting sex with a 6-year-old. I thought she was 7.
No, she was 6.
Okay.
If she was 7, it wouldn't be as much of a story.
I guess not. That's a sad story. Social media issues with athletes, fans, and Twitter. Islander Ranger updates. Timmy the Trotter will join us with some NFL picks for Week 8, give us some harness racing tips, and hopefully, we didn't get to it last time, a live song from Mr. B.
What's it going to be this week?
It's not any different than it was 2 weeks ago. Down by the River by Neal Young.
All right. So did you miss us last week? What did you do on your Sunday morning without us? Christine didn't miss us at all. Oh, you did? Okay. Christine says she missed us.
We missed you too.
Because you had to go through an hour of pure football nonsense. How's your fantasy team doing, by the way? They're winning. All right.
I won the week last week.
You did. You won the week. You're the second guy this year to have the low score the week before and then win the week.
I thought I might have been the first because I know that I did that.
The Jujus did that earlier in the year.
I see.
All right. So let's talk about, since we're talking about Bruce Springsteen,
Yes.
isn't Dave Herman the man who invented Bruce Juice?
Yeah, I think he is.
Right? Didn't he invent, I think he invented coined the phrase
Yes.
Bruce Juice. Okay, so Dave Herman is a former, if you were in the glory days, so to speak, okay, he was a
We're not
morning...
changing the name of the show.
We're not changing the name of the show. He's a former WNEW FM morning DJ, and he was arrested in St. Croix on Thursday on charges of trying to procure sex from a 6-year-old girl.
I don't get that.
Okay.
That's-
Obviously, he's retired. He's 77 years old now. He still lives in New York. But he spent 40 years as a DJ on the radio, and but he used to host the Dave Herman Rock and Roll Morning Show.
Right.
And
Old
every
New
morning,
Barred and Blue, I remember
Old
he
New
did.
Barred and Blue. That's right. He had Old New Barred and Blue, and I remember he was the one who I always associated with Bruce Juice. I even have a Bruce Juice pin.
So do I.
I don't know where I got it from. Do you?
And I can tell you where we got it from. We were up in Boston visiting our friend Larry Kramer.
See, I don't
So everything
remember.
kind of comes together. We got Pete Torgerson coming on later on. You know?
I don't remember details like that. That's pretty good. See, we should get together with you before your brain fries like mine.
Well, I'm working on it.
All right. Anyway, so Dave Herman was brokering a deal with a 36-year-old woman, okay, who was willing to. She was willing to let him have sex with her, quote, incredibly sexy young daughter, Lexi, who was only 6 years old.
How
Unfortunately,
can you be sexy at 6 years old? I don't get that.
unfortunately for Herman, the 36-year-old mother was a New Jersey Homeland Security
I see.
agent. Okay. Now, this is what...
Is
this
there
is
a
what...
case of entrapment here, do you
Well,
think?
I don't know, because... And we're going to get into this in just one second, but think about the fact that you're conversing with a woman who's willing to let you have sex with her 6-year-old daughter.
Yes.
Okay. You and I would say immediately, that must be a trap. Okay? Because nobody in their right mind would do this. But apparently, it's plausible enough for him to have, either he's already done this before,
Wow.
or there are plenty of women that will do this, that will sell their children for money, money for drugs and whatever. So Herman he'd been in contact with this woman and her daughter on the internet since last November. It'd been a whole year he's been working on this, right? He tried a couple of times to get together in both New York and New Jersey, and they just never panned out. So finally he says, okay, I'll buy you plane tickets to come and see me in St. Croix, right? But this is, and it's one thing for you to have been caught doing this or whatever, but this is actual quotes from the investigators.
From his what? His
No,
Twitter
this
account?
is like from correspondence on the phone.
Oh, really?
This is what he said to the woman over
And
the
they can
phone.
verify this is him talking.
Yeah. I find that girls that age incredibly sexy. soft, and their innocence is a huge turn-on for me. Right?
Wow.
But then, this is the one that I would say, why didn't they just arrest him immediately? Okay? Age 6 is the perfect time to start her being loved that way.
Wow.
Right?
It's all disturbing, man.
He also,
What else he got?
He also promised not to hurt the girl, although he admitted he might have to be forceful with her, and that they might have to give her some alcohol to relax her. Dave Herman, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
This is the guy who, for all those years we listened to. What happens when you get to be 77-year-old? Do you turn into a pervert, or have you been a pervert the whole way?
It's a good question. It's a good question.
And
You know, I gotta
what I
remember-
haven't been able to find out, by the way, and Christine, maybe if you could find out for us, does he have children? Does he have grandchildren?
No boy.
What would you think?
Yeah, it's
I mean, if all of a sudden you're reading the paper that your father, your 77-year-old retired father, who, as you were growing up, was probably the coolest dad because he knew Bruce Springsteen, he knew the Rolling Stones, he must have known the Beatles, and your father is arrested for trying to have sex with a 6-year-old girl.
Yeah, it is. It's something very disturbing about that whole thing.
Boy, oh boy. So he's facing 10 years in prison. 10 years to life in prison. And a $250,000 fine. But they were waiting for him at the airport. He shows up at the airport waiting, figuring that the woman and the daughter are coming off the plane.
Was he wearing a raincoat?
That I don't know about.
Okay. That's what I want to know.
So now he's in a federal facility in Puerto Rico, and they're eventually
Now,
going
was
to
he still
send
on
him.
FUV or was he retired from FUV as well?
I don't know. I didn't get all the details. It was just I read the story and I said, can't be.
Yeah, I was disturbed by it too.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
All right. What do we got here? Nothing, right? I would just like to know: is he married? Is he? Maybe that's why. Maybe he never got married. That's the reason why. I don't know. Because, they didn't interview his wife. I thought they would, if he was married, why wouldn't they talk to her? Did you know your husband?
It makes things like Anthony Weiner look okay. I mean,
You know what? All he did was just take a picture of his junk. I mean, and
Wow.
he, I don't know. Whatever.
It's sad.
It's a sad state of affairs. Yeah.
Yes, please do.
All right, and just a quickie thing. The other thing I want to talk to you about was: are you on the Twitter?
I am not.
Okay.
I don't tweet.
Somebody tweeted to Brandon Jacobs that they were going to kill him and his family because he didn't play in the Monday night game against Minnesota.
Because he didn't play.
Yeah, because he has him on his fantasy team.
It's okay.
So Jacobs says he really doesn't like fantasy football at all. He calls it a huge problem. Brandon Jacobs. That's all people talk about. You sit down to eat at a restaurant and people say, hey, I have you on my fantasy team. You got to do something for me. He says, come on, I'm just trying to eat my dinner. Players don't want to hear about fantasy football. He says, we're living fantasy football. All right, so I thought that was an interesting Twitter story.
That is.
But then, Thursday, they arrested a 42-year-old Connecticut man for threatening the Mets on Twitter. Okay? He was charged with second-degree threatening and breach of peace. Apparently, this guy's a Twitter fan of the Mets or follower of the Mets, and he's long been known as a disgruntled fan to the Mets, right? But he said that Met fans should act like Jason Voorhees in the Fridays movies, the Friday the 13th movie, and slash the Mets manager, general manager, and owners. He threatened to blow up the Mets clubhouse and poison all the food at Citi Field. So You know, what I don't understand is you can get arrested for that? I guess it's like the same thing as yelling fire in a movie house.
I guess. I don't know. I guess it's menacing or something. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, well, that's what they said. I didn't know there was such a thing as breach of peace.
Things you learn.
Things you learn. All right, we're not going to go to a break.
We're going to go right to Pete here.
We're going to go right to, wait a minute, but first.
Where's the music? Here we go.
There you go. All righty. And on our phone, is he on our phone yet? On our phone is a good friend to this program. This is our good buddy Pete Torgerson, who hails from Walpole, Massachusetts. And right now he is probably very PO'd about the game last night.
I think so. You know,
Gentlemen.
hey.
Are you there? How are you, man?
Good. What's happening?
Oh,
Well, you tell us. I guess my initial question to you is, you being a referee, you know all about rules and regulations and
Right.
having to uphold rules and regulations. And your team got jobbed, I guess, on technicalities. Two of your teams got jobbed this week on technicalities. New England against the Jets with with that technical call that resulted in a missed field goal, but the Jets got a first down. They went to win the game in overtime. And then last night, the obstruction call that actually led to a St. Louis Cardinal victory. So you think these are cheap shots, or what do you think? I mean, Pete, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
go ahead. So what do you think, man?
I think I blame it all on one Paul Discofani. As he put on Facebook yesterday, it's been 30 years since the anniversary of it going through Buckner's legs. I knew something was going to happen last night.
Oh, I didn't do. I said it for Game 7,
Yeah, that's
not
right.
for Game
That's
6.
Real nice.
Well, you know what? I guess I don't know if you. I don't know if you saw the press conferences after the game. I was watching ESPN and they were showing they had all the umpires and Joe Torre, which I've never seen before. Normally they just kind of hang out in their room and they send one. The normal way they do it is they send one reporter. They call it a pool reporter, to talk to the umpires, to ask them the questions, instead of them getting barraged with questions. And all of them said there was not a thing they could do about it. They all said they knew immediately that it was obstruction.
Okay, well, that's the way it goes.
Of course, and that's what they're going to do. It's the same as on the goal line. Once one ref puts his arms up, they all automatically follow. But my only problem with that call last night is the guy headed back to third base, and then he got tangled up on his way out. If he was going straight home, I'd have no problem with the call.
And also, if he was going straight home, he would have been further into the base path.
Right.
I mean, he was on the infield cut. He was on that little. He jumped over him, and you know what? Though, in deference to him, as a baseball manager, I always tell my runners to get tangled up in the any chance you can get to get tangled up with a fielder, do it, because it's your right to the base path. No matter what, because I know that the rule is that intent has nothing to do with it.
Well, and that's what this came down to too. So, Pete, you being a referee, if you were the umpire at third base, I guess you'd have to make that call, right? Now, and who made the call? The third base umpire?
Third base umpire and the home plate umpire made it also.
The third base umpire was looking the other way. He was in the outfield. The home plate umpire is pointing, running down the third baseline. But do you know who that home plate umpire is?
Who?
He's the same guy that blew the
The
perfect
call at
game
second?
in Detroit. Yeah,
Oh, the perfect game in Detroit. Oh.
yeah. So this guy's got a nice track record. Not to mention,
Yes, he does.
Not to mention, you watch 1,000 baseball games during the summer, you rarely see a ball, because those umpires are unbelievable. You rarely see a ball out of that box that they throw up there.
Yes.
He had a couple last night that were close to hitting the dugout, and he's calling them strikes both ways. So he had a tough game.
It's a tough call, and it's not one. My whole problem with it was not the fact that he got tangled up and ran over him. My problem was that at the end of the game, during that press conference, they asked, "Is there anything that?" Who was the third baseman?
Middlebrook.
Middlebrook. They said, "Could Middlebrook? Could he have done anything to avoid that. And they were like, well, no, not really.
Yeah, well,
So if the fielder can't do anything to avoid it, I mean,
Flat on his stomach.
he's on his stomach. He's laying there. Joe Torre said he could have, because he laid on his stomach the whole time. The ball got thrown into left field. He says maybe he could have rolled out of the way or whatever. Come on.
Right.
You
And then they're
can't.
trying to say he bent his knees, and that got him tangled up. So it was.
No, I'm sorry. Like you said, that guy slid, and his momentum should have kept him going past the fielder. But again, like I said, and you know what? Maybe this is something if you want to ask Jimmy Baseball about. You know, I know that I always told my kids, if you could run into the guy, run into him, because you're automatically getting the base.
Oh, real nice disco.
Well, just saying.
always being aware of the rules.
You know,
and
that's
this is
the
gonna be your
rule.
advantage, I guess, when you win it if you can.
Yeah.
So Pete, I don't know if you heard before we were talking about we were talking about the movie Bruce Springsteen and I.
Yeah,
Did you see that movie?
I have not.
It came out on show.
I lose you?
No, and it's got a bunch of good stories. But the one story that I wanted to talk to you about was we were doing some research. We you know that we met Bruce back in September of '78, but we also went to see him up in New Haven in July of '78, and that was the famous night where Bruce showed up and played with the Beaver Brown Band at Toad's place.
Yes,
Now, were you in the crowd that night or what?
I was.
You were.
Absolutely.
That's unbelievable, man. See, this
Yeah.
would have been another great story for this movie.
Yeah.
It's
No.
it's a good movie, but it's not that good.
You know
It
the
doesn't have these great stories.
Did
you
they
know
mention
the,
Toads in that?
What's that?
Did they mention Toads in that?
No, they did not. I mean, it was. Well, you got to see the movie. It's about an hour and a half long. You know, they ask people what does Bruce Springsteen mean to them. Give me three
Yeah.
words, whatever. But there are 5 or 6 really good stories that are going on where people talk about. One guy was the Pennsylvania Elvis, and he jumped on stage and played with him and things like that. And there were a couple other
That was
stories.
in the trailer. I saw that.
Yeah,
I
so
saw
there
that.
were some good stories, but again,
I think
know
it's
the
on,
story of us meeting Bruce would have been a great one, and you could have told a story about seeing him in New Haven, I guess, where he just showed up after his concert in New Haven.
He showed up at like 11:15.
Yeah.
Everybody's just going over there from the show. Next thing you know, here comes the Master of Disasters and the whole team. You know what I mean? But I got a recent Springsteen story for you. His son just graduated from Boston College, and a guy I ref with is a big shot over at Boston College. So we were going to a game a few weeks ago, and we were just talking. I said, did Springsteen ever write a big check to you guys or anything? He says, no. He says, I really couldn't tell anybody this, so that's why I'm telling you guys now.
it's a good thing only 6.9 billion people.
Yeah, he said, they went up to him and said, hey, Bruce, because he's been great. He's like an unbelievable father, just a great guy. Everybody loves him over there. So he goes over, and they said, hey, Bruce, a little something for the effort, write a little check for us. He goes, listen, I don't write checks. Here's what I'll do. I'll do a concert for you guys. So, okay. At the Stone Pony. So they get their biggest donors. They say 10,000 a head. Come see Bruce Springsteen with whatever the Stone Pony holds. 200 people, 300
Wow,
people.
yeah.
They made 1.3 million. So they said. So he did it the next year, his son's junior year. He did it his senior year, and he agreed to a meet and greet with people for like, a half hour one-on-one time with Springsteen for 50 grand a whack. They made 3 million.
Wow.
That note.
Wow.
So, and he played for 4 hours in the Stone Pony. My buddy, they played Dancing in the Dark. My buddy's wife, he grabbed my buddy's wife and took her up on the stage to, do the Dancing in the Dark thing.
Yeah.
So, all good.
Jeez.
So that's a better story than the Patriots and the Red Sox this week, I think.
You know what? The Patriot game was a disgrace. You don't want to be involved in that. Belichick thought he was smarter than the world, trying to, saying it was coming from the second row, trying to sneak
Right.
around. I'm mad at him for that. I'm more mad at the official for making that call after the Jets said, hey, watch that play. Meanwhile, the Jets were doing it too. On a 58-yard field goal, the guy had I could have.
He had no shot at it, exactly.
Right. He had no chance. So you're deciding the game. The guy wasn't going to make it.
Let me ask you, as an official, if a manager or a coach, a hockey coach, comes up to you and says, "Hey, keep an eye on this guy because he's been doing that," or look for this certain thing, does that deter you in any way, or does that make you say,
It depends what kind of night. It depends on what kind of night you're having with the guy. If a
Right.
coach calls me over and says, "Hey, number 17's been diving all night," and my automatic response is, "17 on your team?" I say, "Yeah, I'm having a big problem with him tonight, coach. What's the deal?"
But what about?
Then they get-
But not
then they
during
get
a
flustered.
game. Not during a game. If before a game, a guy
Hey,
comes
really-
up to you and says, "Hey, listen, last time we played these guys, this guy was doing a little this, doing that. Just keep an eye on it." Would you do that, or would you just, in the back of your mind, just say, "You know what? This guy doesn't think I could do my job,"
Right.
because
You know
that's what basically what that coach is saying to you.
Right. I've never had a conversation like that with a guy before the game. I've had coaches screaming and yelling during a game. I've had coaches yelling at players on the other team, which ignites the other coach to start yelling back at him, and it almost ends up like Patrick Waugh banging the glass over. Coach your team, take care of your business. I had a coach the other night come after us and he said, "Hey, slow down, right? It's the first period of the season, and it was an easy nothing call." He starts screaming at my partner. I said, "Oh, slow down. What's your problem?" He says, "Oh, yeah, you're a hot shot." I don't know if I should have, but I said, "Oh, I forgot. You're coach of the year. You're a hot shot." Then the guy gives me one of these. "Do you know who I am?" He says, "Oh, I've been everywhere." I said, all right, hot shot. You just made the list. In the first 20 minutes of the season, you're on the list for the rest of the year. So, good luck to you.
Hey, I know you said you were getting lubed up for the game, or oiled up for the game.
My ride is pulling in at 10:30.
Oh, okay, so you're he's,
Then they're 3 minutes later, it looks like.
all right, man. So you're going. So enjoy the game today.
The first Irish cricket will be heard at about 10:31.
Hey, are you? Is that game tonight? The Red Sox tonight?
Yes.
It's tonight. Okay. Well, you know what? They're making me look bad here.
You know what? They're going to come through. Detroit threw everything they had at them. They had the best pitching, the best opportunity to beat them. Just those first 3 games, they had, almost 40 strikeouts in 3 games. They came out of that 2-1. I'm not worried now. It would have been nice to have won last night, and people said that if they lost last night, it's all downhill from here. But
Man,
this group is whack. They just grind.
Who's pitching tonight? Do you know?
Lackey.
Lackey. Okay. I like Lackey.
Yeah.
He's a lack.
He's a Lackey. All righty, Pete. Enjoy your game.
Have fun.
All right.
We'll
Hey,
talk.
Pete. Thanks
You know
for
what?
the Springsteen
I
stories
could be
there,
going
too.
to the worst football game of all time. I've got Tom Brady on my fantasy team. I'm thinking of cutting him. That's how bad this season's been.
Don't tell my son that.
Yeah.
All righty, man.
All right, guys. Great job as always.
All right. Good luck. More importantly than the football game, you need that World Series game tonight.
There you go.
Yeah.
Don't
Hey,
make
and
me
that
look
guy-
bad.
The guy threatening the Mets never left his basement in like 30 years, so I wouldn't worry too much about him. The Mets can't even get a good threat made on him. From right now.
Well, listen, I don't think you have to go too far to poison the food at Citi Field. I've had it. All right, man. We'll talk to you later. Thanks, Pete.
All right, guys. I'll talk to you this week.
That's our good pal Pete Torgerson checking in, and it's nice to hear, especially a game that was a controversial call by an official, to have an official's view of it.
yeah.
All right, you want us to take a short
Spare no
break?
expense on the
Just go
Glory
ahead.
Days show.
Forge ahead straight
we go.
through to Timmy the Trotter. All right, we're going to try and get Timmy the Trotter on the line. We'll talk about the Islanders. Oh, wait, you have a little Dave Herman update?
So our crack staff reported this to me.
The
Dave
lovely
Herman-
and talented staff. that we
Dave
have.
Herman is estranged from his wife Libby, and I do recall Libby coming up in a conversation once or twice.
Okay.
Listening to him. And is that Q&A? O and
Oh, and Opie and
O&A
Anthony.
had her on their show after he left WNEW, mocking his romantic skills. Well, of course, she was 6 years old. So.
Well, that's the problem. She was a
calling
shriveled up
him-
old woman,
and
according
calling him
at
a
12.
deadbeat dad.
Oh.
There you go.
Oh boy, poor Dave Herman. Poor Dave Herman. When I say poor Dave Herman, you know what? People like Dave Herman. The problem is there's a lot of people like Dave Herman.
Apparently.
All right. Anyway, let's see if we have our good pal Timmy the Trotter on the phone. Timmy, you there?
Hey, Timmy, how
How
are
you
you?
guys
Man?
doing today?
Good.
All righty, man. Timmy the Trotter is a trainer and a former jockey over at Monticello and Yonkers. And at the beginning of the year, we started him with an imaginary budget of like $100. And as of last week, we were up over $1,000. We didn't have as good of a week this week, 2 weeks ago, since we weren't on last week. But we're still in the high 900s.
Very
That's
good.
great.
You know, how are you, T?
Pressing forward. We're pressing forward. I'm good, guys. I'm doing good. It was a little breezy today, but
Yeah.
little
What do you think of the World Series so far? Let's start with
good.
that, since we were just talking to Pete Torgerson about the World Series.
well, I mean, it's pretty intense. You got two cities that really, love their baseball, like New York, which makes it a really good World Series. They're really into it. You can hear the crowd. They are on almost every pitch.
I
when
couldn't
something's
believe
going on.
how much red was in the crowd yesterday.
Yeah.
I mean, even like when you get to like football games and stuff, and I noticed places like Kansas City,
Yeah.
a lot of red. When you go to the Jet games, there's not a lot of green, because people wear both green and white jerseys. But man, in St. Louis,
Like this?
yeah, in St. Louis, man, even their hats are red, their jackets are red, their gloves are red. They just love their.
it's a
It
great
must be a
city.
great place to play.
It's a great baseball city. It really
Yeah.
is. I mean, we talk about New York, but it's a great place for baseball. It really is.
Yeah, no matter
Well,
how
I
bad,
mean,
no matter what
the
happens.
Yankees have so many championships, but the next highest team with World Series championships is the Cardinals.
That's
Now,
right.
They're about
they had two
15
ladies in the
behind
team.
or something like that, but
The
still.
Cardinals have won 11 titles. They were in the World Series. The last time they won the World Series was 2011. They went, and that was the year that they got rid of Albert Pujols. Last year, again without Albert Pujols, they went to the championship game and then lost to San Francisco.
Yeah.
So that's you look at that team in that game 2, the 22-year-old kid Waka.
Yeah.
Oh my
Could have been a
God!
Met, they said, right?
Really?
Yeah, that's what they had on. That was the Post Saturday headline. This guy could have been with the Mets.
You think about that guy. He's 22 years old. Okay, he's 4-0 in the. First of all, he was the NLCS MVP. Okay, because he beat Kershaw twice. Right now, he has in 27 postseason innings, he's only given up 3 runs, and 2 of them were on the David Ortiz home run.
Yeah, he's a dynamite young pitcher. Look at
So
the
they
guy.
came out. They had this kid Walker, 22. They had another guy, 22 years old, pitched the 8th inning, and the kid in the 9th inning that struck out all 3.
They got a lot of power arms. A lot of power arms. They really do.
I didn't see it. I'm sorry.
All right.
Yes. So and you know when you just sit there.
Hey, did you see? They showed Molina's baseball glove. Did you see his catch?
Yeah. It's ripped up, man. Said he's gone
Shredded
through
from
2
Tom.
this season. I saw.
What a unbelievable,
Yeah.
unbelievable. Hey, 2 good towns, baseball towns. So they're going at it pretty good.
Who do you think's going to win?
I think the Cardinals.
Really, I know I was taking Boston.
I like the Cardinals.
I like Cardinals too. But I think, as opposed to my football picks, which have been doing pretty good, I think that I did not pick anybody that was going to be in the World Series this year. Right?
All right, so let's segue into the NFL. Week 8, a lot of injuries last week. You know what? And I don't know how they're going to overcome these injuries and stuff. But you know what? These things just happen. So 2 weeks ago, when we made our picks, you and Mr. B, Timmy, were 3-0,
Nice.
and I lost the game. I lost the Houston game. So Mr. B still leads in the standing,
Here we go.
15-3,
Not
Very
bad.
nice.
Not bad.
and me and the Timster are 12-6. So we're a full 3 games behind.
I will
And I
say this
think I would like to invoke the Timmy the Trotter rule of not being able to pick against Jacksonville.
Well, I was going to say that.
Yeah,
actually,
Mr. B, I told you that last time.
You did.
He knocked 2 or 3 wins off of
this
that
week, I
automatic.
will let you know that I did not go for that game. That's an easy one. That is the 49ers versus the Jaguars in London. But I did not pick that as one of my 3 games.
And I am going to
okay?
tell you that I am not going to pick that as my game, but a disco prediction. Jacksonville wins their first game this week.
Really?
Yep.
Nice. Well,
Just saying.
We'll check your urine after the.
Because now, just remember, San Francisco traveled to Tennessee, I think last Sunday, had to then go back and then had to go to London. That game is in London.
Yeah, but, you know, the thing you said is San Francisco stayed there all week. They went all week. They've been there all week. They didn't just go there.
Oh, really?
Yes, after the game last week, they
Went straight to England?
They went straight to England. They've been there all week.
All right, I'd like to make another disco prediction.
I'd like to revise my prediction there. Okay. All right.
Yep, they stayed there all week.
So what are your picks this week, Timmy?
You know,
Wait. Before you get into your picks, let's talk about the Jets and the Giants first.
yeah.
Okay, so the Giants are going to be, they finally get a win
Yep.
last week, and they're going into Philadelphia, who's getting, they're getting Michael Vick back this week. What do you like in that game?
I like the Giants. I don't think Michael Vick's going to be 100% when he goes to run, and 1 or 2 good hits can knock him out, and then they have nobody to back up, and then
Yeah.
the Giants can really unload.
I like the Giants in that game too.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I think the Giants have finally, they had to get off the schneid,
Yep, so to speak.
as they say. And the Jets, of course, last week was a thrilling game last week
Yeah.
that they were able to come back and win that game. And they're going into Cincinnati, which is a difficult place to play.
Yeah.
But Cincinnati, beat Detroit last week on a last-second field goal. So I don't know. The Jets, this is now the 8th game of the season, so this is a loss.
Well, that's right. It's every
win,
other.
lose,
they
win,
win,
lose,
they
win.
lose, they
Right.
win, they lose. So this is the week.
So this is the week that they lose. So,
Up and down, the roller coaster ride.
I hate
All
to
right.
say it, but I agree with you there too.
all right, Timmy. So what games do you like this week and why?
Yeah, well, the game that I kind of like a lot is the Atlanta Falcon game. I like Atlanta against the Cardinals. It's in Arizona, but I like Atlanta in that. I just think they're going to right the ship. They got a couple of real good players there that can make plays, and the Falcons, to me, should be one of the upper echelon teams. They started off not too great, but I think they're going to right the ship. And I'll take the
They
Falcons.
have to. They have no choice.
Yeah, I think I'm going to take the Falcons.
They're at 2-4 right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think they'll right the ship. Cardinals are 3 and 4, I think, but I like the Falcons in that game.
All righty. What else you got?
I like the Steelers against the Raiders. They got to go to Oakland, but I like the Steelers. I think this defense, the veteran defense is going to cause havoc for the Raiders' offense and their quarterback, and I like the Steelers.
That is
Well,
one of
they've
my
won.
picks too.
They've won 2 games. They've won 2 in a row now.
Yeah, I think they're going
Pittsburgh.
to start playing well also. Maybe against the upper echelon teams, their offense ain't going to be good enough, but against a Raider team that's really, not much to talk about, I think the Steelers in that game.
And who else do you like?
Well, the other game I like a lot is, I was looking at the Saints and the Bills, and I like the Saints, I really do. The Bills have been playing okay this year. They really give some teams a tough tassel, but I'm going to go with the Saints. I like the Saints.
Okay.
Their quarterback is just too good. The kid that's playing for the Bills, their quarterback that they took off the practice squad, is playing pretty good.
Yep.
Thaddeus Lewis.
Yeah, but I like the Saints.
He killed me in the survival pool last week
No, he's
when they
playing
beat Miami.
He's got some swagger to him. He's not, he's not bug-eyed over what's going on. He's
No.
in there playing. He's competing, and that's a good sign. But I like the Saints. And I just
All right,
think the Saints
Mr.
are
B,
better.
who you like?
I have Seahawks over the Rams on Monday night as my second pick. And my third pick is this evening's game, the Packers over the Vikings.
Yeah, I
That's
like
because you're hoping for
I like the Packers too.
you're hoping for Aaron Rodgers to break out.
I am, I tell you, man. My fantasy team, my 2 running backs, they don't start, because there's a bunch of teams on buys this week. I think there's 6
Yeah.
teams on buys this week.
Yeah. I have this week. I like. I'm with you, Timmy. I like the New Orleans. I like New Orleans coming off. They're coming off their bye week. They're rested. They're 5-1. I like them this week at home against Buffalo. And I also am with you, Mr. B, on the Seattle game. Can you even name me the Seattle quarterback? I mean, the St. Louis quarterback?
I don't know, they're looking to get Brett Favre.
Yeah, they called Brett Favre
Oh,
first.
yeah, it's the guy Clemens, right? on the
Kellen
Jets?
Clemens,
Yeah.
that's exactly right.
Oh, boy, yeah, Clarence Clemens there. Clarence Clemens.
We were just talking about Bruce Springsteen a lot today,
Yeah,
man.
Bruce Springsteen, Mr. Big Clarence Clemens.
And the other game is I'm looking at New England to take down Miami this
Yeah.
week.
Yeah.
I think Miami's been exposed. They won their first 3 games or whatever they were. Now they've lost 3 in a row.
Yeah, I like that, too.
So I'm looking for.
Hey,
for
did you
that.
see, by the way, with the NFL, they had Pam Oliver, all the derogatory things she said about the New York.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she put her foot in her mouth pretty good. I'm surprised they didn't fire her right on the spot. Yeah,
That
she
might
was
be
just-
coming, but
was
she
pretty
did.
vocal.
There's probably a lawsuit going on with her getting hit in the head with the football, and then the band charging in front of her altogether.
Maybe she's got concussion syndrome.
Yeah, she said there'd be a couple of idiots there, without their shirts at the because she's talking about how cold it's going to be.
Yeah.
And it'll probably be Jet fans.
Yeah.
And she's lucky
See,
she got out of there alive.
I think if she used the term knuckleheads instead of
knuckleheads.
idiots, she would have been all right. I don't know. But, we'll have to see.
She didn't do the right thing. That's for sure. Stupid.
All right, who we got this week in horse racing, in harness racing?
Okay, we're going to start off with Monticello on Monday in race 7. We're going to box the 3, 6, 7.
Okay.
We're going to go to Tuesday in Monticello in race 1, 1, 2, 4.
Okay.
Where our Yonkers play is on Tuesday in race 8, box the 1, 4, 6.
Okay.
And Wednesday back at Monticello in race 10, we'll box the 1, 2, 5.
Okay, as we are looking to make our Christmas push.
Here we
Yeah,
go.
we got to make our Christmas push. I mean, they're already out. If you watch TV, they're already starting to advertise for Christmas.
All righty, man.
All right, you guys be well.
You do the same.
Have fun.
Thank you, Timmy.
All right.
Great talking to you.
All right, Tim, thanks. That is our good pal Timmy the Trotter with his NFL picks, a couple of horse racing tips, and do we still have, is he still there? Let's put him on for 5 minutes.
I don't think we got 5 minutes.
We got 5 minutes. We got. How long is the song?
Could be 10 minutes.
Uncle Neal.
Hey, what is this? You keep me on hold forever?
Yeah, we had.
Well,
other
the
guests,
problem is we
lined
only
up.
have one. We can only have one guy on the phone at a time. You know, we're on the air at 10 o'clock in the morning. You could have called at 10 o'clock when we had nobody on the air.
So what's happening,
I
Uncle
couldn't call
Neal?
at 10 o'clock. I was very busy at 10 o'clock.
Yeah,
But
what
I
were you doing
have
at 10 o'clock? Making coffee?
a celebrity of my own that I'm doing an interview here, talking about Bud Siegel, that he's so senile, he should retire now.
You got a whole nother year with him. He's not retiring until next year, till January of 15.
He should be shot. There was no intentional interference, so he should be shot and hung out to dry.
But
A
the,
rule is a rule.
My guest here today on the show. What's your opinion there, sir?
Well, a rule.
Oh, wait a minute.
How you doing?
How you doing? Uncle Paulie's in
Oh,
with
Uncle
Uncle
Paulie.
Neal this week.
I see.
This week.
How you doing?
So what are you two guys up to down there in Florida?
We're just hanging around at the pool watching all the young girls pass by. How's everything over there?
Everything's doing pretty good over here. We're having a good time this morning. Did you hear your nephew before? I don't know if you were listening.
No, we didn't hear him before.
Well, that's what was happening. Your nephew, Timmy the Trotter, was on the
No,
phone.
He's having trouble with this machine over here. He can't get you.
Oh, okay. No, we have Timmy the Trotter was on the phone, so we had to finish up our segment with Timmy the Trotter. That's why we couldn't get you guys on immediately.
Oh, all right. I wanted to talk about, that kid that hit that girl at the football game.
Yes, did you see that?
Yeah, something. I don't go for anybody hitting women, but that girl, I think she was a little wrong too. For
Oh, did you see what she was doing to him beforehand? He took a couple of shots before he finally reeled back and and hit her right in
I didn't see
the
it.
chops. Oh, man. After the Jet-New England game, okay, there were a bunch of Patriot fans that were jawing with some Jet fans. And these two girls were attacking
How old
this
were they?
guy. They were in their 20s, you know. They were attacking a Jet fan. So he took a couple of hits, and he's a big guy. He got arrested a couple times in his life for assault, and he spent some time for murder and thing, right? And he leaned back and boom, he punches this girl in the face. It was the greatest video I ever saw because she really deserved it. And did you hear, Uncle Paulie, did you hear what they did? They banned him from the stadium now.
That's what's bothering me because she gets away free and clear. You know.
Well, she's banned too, but she's a New England fan. She's not coming back.
Right.
This guy runs a jet bus, and I've seen the bus. It's the big green jet bus. This is the guy that runs it.
Really?
And they got pictures of him with Rex Ryan and with owner Woody Johnson and stuff, and now he's banned.
Wow. Wow.
So you're right. You know what though? But your mama teaches you. You don't throw the first punch, but once you get punched, all bets are off, right? I mean, isn't that the code?
For hitting back, but I think she should have been more of a lady, and you know.
She was a Patriot fan.
I'm sure booze was involved.
Yeah, well. All right, kid.
All right, boys. Enjoy Hey, Uncle Paulie, bring some of that warm weather back with you. It's been very cold here the last couple of days.
Let me tell you, it ain't too warm over here either. In the afternoon it gets warm.
All right.
All righty, enjoy. Uncle Neal, thanks.
Don't listen to him. It's warm here.
All right.
He does nothing but complain. I don't know why he came here.
He came there because he loves you.
Put their bikini on over there.
There we
You
go.
wouldn't know what to do with it anyway. He's drinking me out of house and home. All my scotch is gone. I gotta go buy more scotch.
Hey, have one for us.
We'll have more than that. I hope you guys have a wonderful day.
All right.
It'll be better than mine because I got him here for a whole week.
And this is going to be the new in radio show. It's the Uncle Neal and Uncle Paulie show. All righty, guys, thanks.
I got a question.
Oh, what?
We gotta
How's your
go.
mother?
My mother? My mother is great. My mother's doing great.
Good, I'm good to hear. All right.
Thanks, Uncle
That's
Neal.
all you hear. Camille says hello.
Hey, Aunt Camille, how are you?
Well, she don't want to talk to you because
Okay.
she's got issues, but that's beside the point.
All righty. See you guys later. Enjoy Florida.
All right, we'll do. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right. That's pretty funny. All right.
Great to hear from them.
Uncle, you know, I forgot. I knew, my mother told me that Uncle Paulie was going down to see her. All right, we got time here. Let's do, you want to just let me talk while Mr. Bruce sets up? Or we want to go to a commercial to set him up? Okay,
Well, go to the commercial then.
go to commercial then.
All right.
All right, we're going to go take a quick break. Mr. B will be right back, and then we will be out of here.
All right.
righty, welcome back to the Glory Days Show. If you are a newbie to this program, every week Mr. B does a song for us. Well, as many weeks as we can get him in.
That's right.
Which is
Could
in,
go
the,
2 weeks
in
ago.
the high 98th percentile.
It's pretty good.
So what's it going to be this week?
Down by the river. And I think I told you I saw this youthful band a couple of weeks ago playing at...
Oh, the 12-year-olds.
15 years old.
15-year-olds.
That's right. And they did this song, and I did a great version of it. And I said, you know what? It was not written for the acoustic guitar, but I said, let me try this thing. It's only got 2 verses, so we can be out of here kind of quick, too.
Okay.
All right.
Mr. B.
So Down by the River for Uncle Neal. Neil Young, that is. Okay. All right.
Alrighty.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Yeah. We're done.
That is one of the nicest sounding songs about premeditated murder I've ever heard.
Down by the river, I shot my baby.
And by the way, may I say that your fingering was wonderful?
Yeah, you think so?
Well, and what would Steve Carell say? Easy, fellas. That's what she said. And with that, we would like to say thank you to our wonderful and talented Christine Palmer, our executive producer, from Backwater, which airs every now and then on Saturday night from 7 to 9 p.m. right here on InRadio.com. Thanks to Pete Torgerson and Timmy the Trotter for helping us out today. And thanks again, Chuck and Bonnie, for putting up with this nonsense week after
Uncle
week.
Neal showing up.
Uncle Neal and Uncle Paulie. That
showing
was.
up unexpectedly today.
I think they would make a good show.
They would be. I think so.
All right. And of course, thanks to you, the loyal listeners. Oh, thanks to Chuck and Bonnie for putting up with this nonsense week after week. And stay right where you are as Code Red Fantasy Football with co-host Mike the Admiral, Kevin, and Darren immediately following the Glory Days show, which is right now.
We're out of here.
We're out of here.
Okay.
See you next week, everybody.